So I was on Twitter and I saw John Lordan posted a link for a family, and I think one of their relatives were missing. So I gave money to this and said I'll look into it sometime later. I just want to help out for a cause. I looked into this and wow. 26-year-old Prisma Reyes was last seen in the Olympus Ross Apartments in East Dallas, Texas. She's from a town called Mesquite, Texas, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere near Dallas, Texas. But she got a new job nearby the apartment complex where she was found. I'm not going to go into this in too much details because I want to refer you guys not only over to John Lordan's video dealing with this. I think he did like an over 30-minute video dealing with this, but also to Gray Hughes. Gray Hughes always add a different dimension to videos, and whereas I like to put you guys in the shoes of the actual person and make you feel where they're coming from, Gray Hughes puts you on ground level where you can retrace the steps of this person on their last days before they went missing or were murdered. So I strongly suggest you watching both John and Gray Hughes' video on this. But a little details I'll give away is that, again, she was last seen at the Olympic Ross apartment complex in East Dallas, Texas. She worked. It was said that she may have met her ex-boyfriend for lunch and people saw them together. And then around 5:30, she was caught on camera wearing this. That the actual whole footage will be on John Lordan's channel as well, where you can watch, where it kind of looks like she was a little bit woozy or something was going on there. But that was the last time she was ever seen. And she was on her way, or supposed to have been on her way, to pick up her 6-year-old son around 7:40, and they called the cops around 9 p.m. that night. And I think this was on Wednesday, April the 17th. Now, what I love about this is that they reported her missing about 2 hours after she didn't respond to pick up her child. They found her car nearby the apartment complex she was last seen the following Thursday morning. We rarely get situations where the cops, the family, everybody is in sync and on this so swiftly, so fast to try to get the information out there as fast as possible. So we can try to find the missing person. And they did it in this situation. I wish a lot of more situations happened this fast. And you do not have to wait 24 hours for a missing person. That's a big misconception that we have now. If you feel that someone is missing, call the police immediately. Also in the description will be the link to where you can donate to the family. Now, I want to do this video different. You should see that this is going to be a long video for Crimes with Crimes, as we are going to now move into the Tim Jones Jr. portion. This is going to be different because I am going to be doing a reaction to a confession, which I hope to have a lot of these on my channel in the future where I react to different confessions. So Tim Jones Jr. is a man that murdered his 5 children in Lexington, then drove around approximately 700 miles before dropping their dead bodies in Alabama and being caught at a DUI checkpoint in Mississippi, where not only they smelled alcohol, but they smelled the stench of rotting corpse. His children were 8 years old, 7, 6, 2, and 1. He alleges that his 6-year-old son was playing with his sockets, and he believed that there's a possibility that his 6-year-old son was trying to kill him. So he made him do PT exercises for an hour. His 6-year-old son went into the room to go to sleep. He never woke up. He was dead. Then his 8-year-old son, Gabriel, came into the room and he killed him, which his daughter, Abigail, saw that, who's 7 years old. And after killing those 2, he only had the 2-year-old and 1-year-old left, which he put a belt around their neck and strangled them. This case has been plagued the entire week. As a matter of fact, as I'm recording this, they are doing closing statements on the case. This case has the mother of the children, who he received full custody from, in a very touching testimony. Babysitters, his grandmother, a lot of important and key elements to this case, which I will be discussing in a true crime video, documentarian style video in the future. So for this video, I only want to do one thing, as I want to go back to what I was first interested into this case, outside of being a father, and so sick of seeing people, fathers like him and Chris Watts recently, harming their children. I was interested in the insanity plea with this case, and how people choose to plead insanity. We have a confession from him, and in the confession, he details everything. There were so many spots in this confession, as I skimmed through it the first time, where it is impossible for me that he could plead insanity. So we're going to go back and we're going to listen to him in his own chilling words, and we're going to come up with our own opinion, simply based off his confession, which without a professional psychiatrist, which there are some in this case, what we're going to talk about in the future, would be the most compelling piece of evidence that I would want to look into if I was one of the jurors. I would want to look at him in his own words. So we're going to listen to him in his own words. People who always leave comments saying, you're no professional, you know this, you know that. I'm not a professional football referee, but I jump up and I curse whenever I see that the play was called incorrectly. We all do this. We all have our opinions. You don't need to be a professional to have your opinion, to have discussion about something that you're into. But if you want to look into professional people, a YouTuber who I completely trust and look up to, it's called Live Abuse Free. Her link will be in the discussion. I hope that she does look into this case, but she did an excellent job on the Chris Watts case. So without further ado, let's begin.
Which would have been, all right, what's your date of birth?
12/28/1.
All right, and you agreed to talk to us.
Yeah, we was talking, but they forgot to push the record button. So
Okay.
this is part 2.
All right, and when we went towards the end, we asked you if we threatened you
No,
in
you
any
guys
way.
didn't threaten me.
No one promised you anything. Could you just please say it out loud?
No, nobody promised me anything.
Oh, okay. We talked about what happened with your children.
Well, no, I take that back. You guys did promise me. You guys said let me go give them a burial and try to help you out.
So
That's what you guys promised.
Promised a good burial for your children.
All right, so he don't care about his children having a good burial, because if he truly cared about that, why did he drive around the southeastern United States with their body rotting the way that it was? You know, every time I watch stuff like this or listen to stuff like this, the killer always tries to find a way to show that there's some form of humanity left inside of them. You know, what did he say? It's not important. I don't even want to mention his name anymore, but they always try to find a way because they're worried about themselves. And to me, this whole tape is going to confirm Tim Jones Jr. was worried about himself. He's not insane. Let's keep going.
We talked about when you picked your children up Thursday, which would have been August 28th. You picked them up from school that day, and something happened that night. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you walk us through what happened?
I questioned the town about 4 outlets that he blew. After a series of not getting any favorable responses out of him, I tried to use more harsh measures to just try to get out of him what was going on, because I didn't know what he was doing. I seen 4 destroyed outlets. Is it for me, him? Was he curious? I just didn't know what was going on, and I was trying to make sense of it. I worked too hard, or maybe it was a combination of the electricity. I know electricity takes electrolytes out of your body. Something happened. It was out of the ordinary, and he wouldn't tell me. If I would have known it, I mean, I would have gotten medical help and whatnot, but I don't know what he did, and he didn't tell me. I didn't see any burn marks on his body, so that's why I didn't rush him to the hospital. So after the fact, he was deceased.
And then what happened to him? How did he get deceased? What did you do?
I sent him to bed after I worked him real hard because he wouldn't answer me.
And what do you mean by working him too hard?
I just PT'd his ass till he couldn't handle it.
Look at the glimpse of monster that come out. PT'd his ass. 1 second ago, you was just saying that you want to make sure they get a proper burial. Now you're saying you PT'd his ass? For people who don't know, he's saying that he worked them out, you know. PT is a term used in the Army when you do physical training. All right. Let's just say he's telling the truth and he forced his 6-year-old son, Nathan, to do physical training until he was so tired that he died. Do you all know how that looks? Do you know? It's not some jumping jacks and somebody, oh, I'm tired, Dad, I'm going to take a rest, and they die peacefully in their sleep. I mean, you push 100 times past your point of exhaustion. And if he's talking to the police officers this calm and stuff, I can only imagine his demeanor in the room when he was PTing his son's 6-year-old ass to the point that he loses his life.
I want 100 push-ups, and you better get them in right for touching a girl. Go.
What happened?
I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47.
Just stop it right here. This video is only 4 minutes and 17 seconds long. And in 4 minutes and 17 seconds, he pushes his son to the point of exhaustion at 89 push-ups. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. This little kid, looks to be around 6 or 7 years old, around Nathan's age, was only able to push out about 89 push-ups. And I want you to take this information and know that he's going to say that he did it for over an hour. He PT'd his ass for over an hour. Now put yourself in Nathan's shoes and see him for the monster that Tim Jones Jr. really is. And I also hate that when we get into confessions like this, you'll talk normal, but when you get around to the time where someone lost their life, you want to pause and try to find a proper word to use. You killed your son. He didn't pause deceased. You killed him. You took his life. Let's keep going because this is long.
Cracking more butt a couple times to get something out of him to tell me what was he doing.
Right.
What's his motive?
And when you're saying PT, and what are we talking about?
Squats and push-ups.
Squats, push-ups. How long were you having them PT?
I'm PT like an hour. Like I said, there's nothing out of the ordinary. Those kids would do insanity with it. We have fun doing it.
And where did he go from, you're doing this where in the house? Where you PTing?
Because I think, again, killers do to make themselves seem a little bit better. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. We had fun doing it. You killed your son. Shut up. We had fun doing it. Were you doing PT with him too?
In the living room, and then I finally got tired of him and sent him to bed. Okay, to bed. You're not telling me the truth. I can't help you. Go to bed, man. You're wasting everybody's time.
And then you find out what?
Come back and find out that he's deceased. And when I find out he's deceased, then the shit hits the fan and all.
How does the shit hit the fan, Tim?
The shit doesn't hit the fan. You murder your children. Like, they act like it just got out of control. What is this it? You are about to kill the remaining 4 children that you have on Earth. That's the shit that hits the fan. Just keep going.
The voices start going off, and then here comes the paranoia. Oh shit! What just happened? What just happened? This ain't gonna go. I can't call. But I got all these voices running.
When he says the voices, you know, he's gonna do this a lot and then hear this a lot. The voices, man, is a relief of responsibility off jump. And it's also trying you're trying to establish you're crazy. The problem most of these people have with trying to establish that they're insane or that they're crazy is that their limited knowledge of everything going against all of these people that are going to disprove them wrong. So here's number one, the voices. That's his first excuse, is the voices in his head go off. These voices that he's hearing, it's himself. It's himself. He's about to hear himself. We all hear voices in our head. I don't know. A woman walks by and you want to decide, do you want to look at her or do you not want to look at her? You got voices in your head. Go on and do it, man. No. Everybody got voices. It's called your conscience. Your conscience. You, Tim, are about to talk to yourself and tell you to kill your own children. It's a decision that you made.
I'm do my head now.
And then what happens, Tim? What did you tell us earlier? So Natan was dead, and then what happened?
And I followed suit with the other 4.
And how did you
So
kill
that
them,
was
Tim?
with my hands.
With your hands? Can you describe what you mean by with your hands?
Around their neck.
Around their neck? Okay.
Who was next?
I'm just gonna put the order so I don't have to go into too much detail.
Okay. Just tell us the order.
Tan, Mira, Eli, Gabriel. Wait. Tan, Eli, Mira, Gabriel, Eli.
And when did you say this was, Tim? What date? You told us earlier.
Thursday, I think. They were supposed to go to school Friday and they didn't go because, well, they couldn't go
Yeah. And you said also that this happened where?
at the house.
Can you tell me what that address was?
2155B, South Lake Drive.
What county is that in, Tim?
Lexington, South Carolina.
Lexington, South Carolina? Okay.
Where in the house did you say these happened at? In the house?
The bedroom, or not bedroom, the living room.
Okay. What did you do earlier? You said when you would strangle them. What would you do with the bodies at that point?
At that point, I was just running on fear and I wasn't thinking. Any normal person would have said, let me call the police and just turn myself in.
Okay.
Why are you scared if you're crazy? If you're insane, why are you scared? Now, it says that he has schizophrenia. You can be scared of a billion things, so I just want to be clear. When he's talking about this kind of fear he's describing is fear of being caught. You're not insane if you have a fear of being caught. You're telling me that you know what you did was wrong. Everything, if he's saying that he killed his first son by accident because he PT'd his ass to death, every remaining murder after that was to prevent you from being caught of what would have been an accidental sort of manslaughter murder, according to you. But the fact that you continue to do this shows me that you're not insane, especially if you're afraid to be caught.
I took the coward route and started following those voices in my head, which led me down such a nice path I'm on today.
And what did you do then
What do you mean?
with the bodies?
I put them in bags and threw them on the hill.
Okay, no. When you're at the house,
Oh, load them. I just load them in the car.
did you put them in a bag at that time?
No.
Okay.
I was just
You do know. You know if you drove around with your children in the bag or not. Come on, man. Be honest.
5 everybody's.
You put them in the vehicle. What type of vehicle was that?
Cadillac Escalade.
All right. And what do you do from there?
I started driving out of fear.
Tim, tell us, what was your original plan to do with the bodies? Now that we've had a chance to talk about it.
I don't know what my original plan was. I had so many thoughts going through my mind.
What were some of them? Because you wrote some notes and you bought some
I had
stuff.
100 different thoughts about what I could do.
Okay.
I don't want to sit and incriminate myself, but
No,
I
you're fine.
had a bunch of different things. I wanted to.
He don't want to incriminate himself after telling the cops how he murdered 5 of his children. Let's keep going.
We went over this, but part of your plan was to do what? The bodies.
I think originally I intended to go do all that stuff that I wrote down on the paper, but
Which
then I
was
couldn't
what?
bring myself to it. I was
Right?
Just tried to
What was it?
do stuff to just get rid of the corpse.
Do you remember what step one was?
Like dissolve them or something like that. And I was gonna cut them up.
You're gonna.
I was gonna do all kinds of stuff.
Did you write down that you were gonna burn the bodies?
I think I was gonna burn them, yeah.
And you were going to what was?
Burning your children's body, cutting up their body parts and putting them into trash bags are all different forms of trying to hide evidence. Why would someone who's insane do this? Let's keep going.
Step 2.
Boil them, or I forget what it was. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't remember everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you write that you were gonna?
I wrote stuff down that it was in the context of that time, but
All right. Was it something that you were going to cut the bodies up?
something I could bring myself to do. Yes.
All right. Let's take a look
All right,
here.
Tim, while he's looking that up, I also want to clarify when you last saw Christina, your next door neighbor.
Oh, when I last saw her, the kids were actually still around.
She said she spoke to you on the 2nd.
She talked to me. Yeah.
talked to you on the
when I last seen her.
And the children, so she talked to you on the phone then? Okay. And the children were deceased?
And I lied to her and told the kids, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to go through this real quick with you. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but we went over this. What is day 1?
Burn up bodies.
What's day 2?
Sun on bones.
What's day 3?
MB smiley face. Dissolve and discard.
Okay, so
He has a checklist of what he wants to do to his children's body. A thought out checklist of how to get rid of the evidence. I know if I'm one of the jurors, I have to be on the stand and I got to pay close attention to testimony from the experts, from the psychiatrists. But I'd be lying to you all if I say that this isn't the most damaging thing to Tim Jones Jr. case is himself. In the same way, the voices in his head was him. He, which were those voices, was the most damaging thing against himself. And it's playing out right now. The freaking irony.
your initial plan was to do these things with their bodies.
What was one of them? I told you there's other stuff. That just happened to be the one that's materialized. I had a million thoughts going through.
Okay, let's go over this. This is what?
Head of the campground, no bodies, and send bodies to Duster Small. By small discard by a sanitation plant.
Okay, so these are some of the things that were going through your head?
That's just a small amount of stuff that was going through my head, yes.
Did you write this before or after you killed the children?
I don't know.
After.
After?
I wasn't premeditating this, no.
Okay.
This was not premeditated, this was a, oh shit, what?
Look at the words he's choosing to say. All right. A normal person who isn't worried about himself, who's talking in a normal context, he wouldn't use the word, this isn't premeditated. He would probably say something like, no, this happened after. I wasn't thinking about all this stuff beforehand. Just beforehand or before. The fact that he's strategically using word like, I did not premeditate this, because he understands the punishment for premeditation is worse than the punishment for like a heat of passion crime or something like that. It doesn't matter. We're talking about children. We're talking about 5 children. He's getting thrown under the jail anyway. But it's crazy. Like, he's going out so selfish to the very end while trying to say that he's insane. Let's keep going.
Just happened.
So you had the bodies in the vehicle. Did you write this in your house, in the car? Where did you write these notes?
That was on the back of a clipboard in the house, I think. Yeah, I would think that would have been in the house. I'm not good at writing and driving.
Okay. Did you do this before or after you put the bodies in the car?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry, those details I don't remember.
Now, we had also gone through some of what you went and purchased, and specifically at the Walmart. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can find the receipt for that.
Drug of choice and nicotine.
What What did you purchase at the Walmart?
I don't remember which Walmart.
This would have been the one in West Columbia.
Pull up the receipt. I don't remember.
Okay. Did you buy a saw there?
Yeah. Ooh.
You okay? Did you buy? Let's go over this receipt here. This receipt is going to be from Augusta Road in West Columbia.
Okay.
All right. And the date here is 9/3. So this is after, because what happened to the children was on Thursday.
What day was that?
Is that correct? That's the 28th.
That makes sense.
Now 9/3, this is on Wednesday, so this is after the weekend. And where have them children been the whole time?
With me.
Where?
Drive around a vehicle, I think.
Where are they though?
They're with me in the car.
Okay, they're all in the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in the middle, not back. So back implies the back where you open it.
And you told me earlier you had them covered up in some sheets or blankets.
Yeah, I do blankets and a shitload of air freshener.
So you have their bodies there. You go in and you purchase what?
Imagine all your children, however many you have, piled in the middle row of your SUV covered in sheet, and you spraying air freshener. Let's keep going.
Walk me through what you're purchasing here.
I don't know where that road is.
All right. What's this?
A dust mask.
This is actually Gatorade, but
Oh.
Dusk mask,
Some goggles, and some hand saws.
some jab saw it says,
And a multi-saw.
multi-saw. What's this here?
Some muriatic acid.
And what's this here?
Like a 5-gallon pail.
All right. Were you purchasing this stuff at that time because you initially thought you might be able to go through with this?
Partially, and then I couldn't bring myself.
You just couldn't do it. Okay. So one of the next receipts we kind of talk about is going to be several days later.
I had these thoughts in my head to try to do this, and then I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay. Now we go to the following day. This is going to be the 4th. This is at the Dollar General store, and we're still in Orangeburg, South Carolina. What do you purchase there that we spoke about?
Excuse me.
What's this here?
Some bad trash bags.
Trash bags. Why'd you buy those trash bags? To do what now? To put the bodies in.
Okay, but then just throw some of my own trash out too.
Okay.
I had a lot of stuff in the vehicle I was trying to throw out.
Wait. Never mind. I don't even want to think that he put trash in the same bags with his children. I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that. Let's keep going.
Now, you said you're just driving around, you have the bodies in the car, and where are you going at that time?
Nowhere, I guess, because in my mind I'm just running. I have nowhere to go.
Because you didn't plan this.
I didn't plan this. No, it's just like
Spontaneous.
This is spontaneous, and I just fucked up my whole life.
Okay.
If it was an accident and you blacked out or something, wouldn't I just fucked up my whole life be the last thing on your mind? Wouldn't it be I will never get to see Nathan again? I'll never get to see my babies again. I'll never get to see my oldest daughter, my oldest son. That's not one life. You lost 5 lives that should have been way more important. At very minimum, the 6th thing you should have thought about is that you just fucked up your life. You literally just ended their life. It's gone.
One bad incident, and I'm not following through with what I should have, and
Now, we spent some time really trying to figure out where your children are at.
yeah,
What did we kind of come up with?
looking somewhere on Route 10 between, I think, Greenville and Campbell.
Well, let's go back to
Okay.
September 5th,
Yeah.
Friday night. What did you tell us happened Friday night?
September 5th.
That was when you said your vehicle got stuck?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
I pulled off to the side at somebody's house to try to collect myself to see where I was at.
Yeah.
And in the process of pulling back onto the road, I got stuck in a
You got
ditch.
stuck, and what happened?
The tow truck had to come on. He caused a record.
All right. Did you have any law enforcement contact that night?
A law enforcement just showed up on his own. He was patrolling, and
Okay. Can you describe what he looked like?
probably about maybe 5'10", shaved hair, Caucasian male.
Okay.
When you have contact with this officer, where are your children?
In the car.
Okay, they're dead in the car.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they're still where you set them.
Yes, sir.
What's going on in that car since they've been sitting for so long? I mean, you killed them on Thursday.
No, they weren't sitting there. Some of the time I took a couple days and just stayed home.
Okay. Did you leave them in the vehicle?
Or were they in the house at that time?
I think they were in the vehicle and I was just sitting there.
Not what you think. We want to
No,
know
I mean,
what
I
the truth
believe
is.
I believed that they were in the vehicle.
But you're
and I was-
talking about the weekend it happened.
Yes, and I was just sitting there thinking, oh,
Ah.
what am I gonna do?
Okay. Well,
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Does this tie this together? Because that's what I'm trying to tell you what I know.
sure.
Yeah,
So
Tim.
all I'm saying from that Thursday, though, the 28th, and you say after all this happens, you place their bodies in the vehicle.
Yes.
Between then and the time you come in contact with the officer, and that would be Friday on September 5th. So we have over a week's time that has passed by. Your children are still in the vehicle. Is that correct?
What date?
Friday, when you have contact
Yeah,
with
so
the
the
law.
next Saturday was, yeah.
Okay, so they're in the vehicle the whole time. What's kind of happening in the vehicle? As far as how does it smell in there?
Stinks like shit.
What's happening with the children? You were telling me before.
But the blood was probably just coming out of their bodies because I just left them in there. And I believe that, well, as far as I know, I think when your body dies, blood and water separate. I think that's,
Now, we had asked, because you purchased the saws and everything, had you used any of the saws on your children?
I think I tried to start on the time and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay. And we'll get to where that happens. Had you tried with any of the other children?
Mm-mm.
No?
He was kind of the whole center of this thing.
Mm-hmm. He's what kind of started this all.
He triggered this all.
If he...
Just so we're clear, it's been a week. He gets pulled over, needs a tow truck, and a cop is out there, and his children are rotting and bleeding out because of their body has been in the car for a week. And he's already purchased a saw, and he's saying, I don't know if he did it now, he's going to do it a little bit later. He's going to try to saw Datan. Now, this is interesting because he's still in the same order as the deaths occurred. He believed his 6-year-old son, Nathan, was playing with some sockets or whatever in the house, PT'd him to death. And now when it comes to the bodies, what are the odds that of 1 out of 5, the first one you try to do is Nathan again? Let's keep going.
would have told you what happened in the outlets that night,
I would have went and acted appropriately to try to help him.
none of this would have happened.
I think he didn't tell me because I think it was intended for me. I think that's why it would make sense for
Okay.
him not to tell me.
So let me ask you,
So here's excuse number 2, The first excuse was voices in his head, and the second excuse is he think that Nathan may have been trying to kill him, which lines up with him wanting to saw his body first. So that's 2 excuses so far. Let's keep going.
you have contact with the law enforcement officer Friday night. The children are still in the vehicle. That would have been on the 5th.
The 5th, yes.
Saturday is when you get picked up here.
The 6th.
That's going to be the 6th. That's Saturday. But that Saturday morning, we look at this receipt. And this is where?
The Greenville, Alabama.
Greenville, Alabama. And what, do you remember what you buy there?
10 packs of cigarettes and some Zuzus and Wham Whams.
Okay, and I just see groceries, so I don't know what you purchased there.
Candy
But,
bars.
and if the time on the receipt is correct, it's telling us 8:18 in the morning.
Yep.
Your children, they're still in the vehicle with you. You're positive about that on Saturday.
Not the whole day, yeah.
Okay, at that time though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go from Greenville, Alabama, and then the next receipt we have is Camden, Alabama. And what do you do in Camden?
I pulled some money out. I was intending to go to Vegas.
Okay. And you take out $500?
$500.
All right. Now, that time is at 1:06 p.m. At that point, were the children in your
I
vehicle?
don't believe they were. I think that they were gone.
You already disposed of them?
Pretty sure.
Okay,
All right.
so
With that in mind, can you describe to me what you were telling me earlier about where you disposed of your children at?
They're in some wooded road, log truck looking thing off on the side in bags.
Was it a 2-lane road that this was off of?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
You said it was a heavily wooded area?
It was heavily wooded. It looked like if you went up in the area where I did, it was either like some of the trees got knocked out of the way, like people potentially either starting to clear it, or maybe somebody came through there and was bulldozing a ATV path or something. I don't know. It wasn't something that was incorporated. That's kind of what I was saying. It was unincorporated.
Unincorporated.
your children, you do what once you get to this location?
Put them in bags and put them off to the side.
Okay. Tell us about Natan.
He said once he gets to the location, he puts them in bags. Right before he asked them to tell him about Natan.
Does this happen there? Or did this happen in a separate place? Where
Well, you said you started to cut them.
You started.
This happened there.
Where did it happen? In the vehicle? Outside of the vehicle?
Outside the vehicle.
And what do you do?
I began to try to saw a leg and I couldn't bring myself to finish it. I can't do that.
How far did you get?
Maybe about that far, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that to him.
Okay. So you did not cut his leg off.
No.
What did you do with his body?
I just put him in the bag and said, I gotta sit you guys over there. I said a prayer for him and walked away.
Okay. Did you place each child in a separate bag? And then did you walk them a couple at a time or one at a time? Which is it?
A couple of times.
Couple at a time?
Just however many trips it took to get 5 of them over there.
Now we asked if they're going to be essentially all together, if they put them in different places.
No, I put them in the same place. If somebody didn't check the bags and they started looking in there and moving around, I don't know what. For all I know, they may not be there.
Okay.
I'm not lying to you that much. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know what happened, obviously, between where I put them and the time I'm here now. I don't know if somebody went back and
You said they just look like they're a pile of
5 garbage bags.
5 garbage, so it looks like they're just garbage in there. Okay. So what do you do then? Do you try to hide the bags at all?
I just put them off to the side. I knew there was no hiding bags. There ain't no hiding this. I'm gonna get caught. This is just a matter of time. I'm buying myself time. I'm gonna get caught.
So you go.
He's still worried about getting caught. You're hearing that all throughout this video. Him getting caught. Selfish. He sounds just like any other killer. He doesn't sound like someone that's insane. It doesn't sound like someone that lost it and went insane. Now, there seems to be problems with schizophrenia. Is not an invitation to commit murder for free and get out of jail free card.
5 garbage bags.
5 garbage, so it looks like they're just garbage in there. Okay. So what do you do then? Do you try to hide the bags at all?
I just put them off to the side. I knew there was no hiding bags. There ain't no hiding this. I'm gonna get caught. This is just a matter of time. I'm buying myself time. I'm gonna get caught.
So you go. You don't try to hide the. In other words, you don't cover the bags up, but you go back to your vehicle, and from your vehicle,
I just drove aimlessly.
And then
I say aimlessly. I was in an aimless path toward Las Vegas. That's why I was doing this, and that explained me going around the major cities.
All right?
And I explained my line of travel maybe,
Until you get here in Smith County.
and then I didn't intend to get, and then that's when everything blows up in my face.
Now, you were telling us that was actually in the car, was not Spice, but they are called...
This is Scooby Snacks.
Okay.
You said locally in Lexington County, you bought those from where?
Time Warp.
Time Warp?
And what do they kind of do for you?
They calm the voices down inside my head to let me be at peace and not act on them.
They kind of give you the same high as what drug? I think you're talking about the...
It's like marijuana in the sense that it gives you a high, but it's not the high that I'm looking for. It's the effect of quieting this. It's medication. I know that sounds stupid as heck, but it is. That's why I need to see a doctor.
Okay.
You are of sound mind to realize that you're scared and afraid and you want to take a substance to make you calm down. I'm no expert, but this isn't something that crazy people do. This sounds like a logical person. He's showing me over and over again, he's thinking the entire way through. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, this will answer a lot of that.
Sure,
Sure. Have any other questions?
Well, what I want to do, we'll go through this, but as we've done this today, nobody has threatened you today, and we'll go over this in this forum. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you think we treated you fair today?
Yes.
All right, you've done the same for us. Have you been completely honest with us?
Yes.
Now, one thing though, you didn't tell us about taking that saw to Natan, not until we started this tape. You had not mentioned that. But I told you we're gonna perform autopsies on your children. We're gonna find them. Mm-hmm. And you're telling me the 4 children, 4 of them, we're gonna find out that they were suffocated. Now you're grabbing your hands, you're putting them around your throat. That's what you did?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you suffocated them? Did you put a pillow over that?
No.
No. All right, if you could just say out loud what you're doing.
I use my hands to suffocate my kids.
Is there anything else we need to know, Tim, about what happened to him? Anything you may have attempted to do to him afterward?
I used a belt too.
Used a belt too? How'd you use a belt? Around their necks? Did you do that with all 5 children? No?
With who?
Who did you use the belt on?
I forget which ones.
Okay.
I used it as...
What is the autopsy going to show with Natan?
No. He did not forget which kids he used the belt on. He used the belt on the 2 babies. On the 2 youngest babies. And I told you, people lie when they're afraid and they don't want to look like the absolute worst monster. You're the worst in the scenario to take the belt and tighten it around 2 little babies. It's like, man, I start these things and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a video. Then I get into it and I'm like, I really get upset, man.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Did you use the belt on him?
It's gonna. I don't know. I didn't use the belt on him. No, I came in and he was gone, and that's when I went into panic mode, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So you're not sure what the autopsy will show for Natan?
I don't know what it's gonna show. I don't know what actually was. I don't know what his actual cause of death was. That's just the point. And I didn't want to go. I was afraid I was gonna just get myself locked up.
Yeah.
Did you use the belt on?
How are you crazy and demons in your head and voices and stuff if you're just afraid you're gonna get locked up? You're admitting to investigators that right now, everything is an accident. You walk in and you had a punishment that was too harsh of PT, and you're saying right at that moment before you deliberately murdered anyone, this is coming from you, that you're afraid that you're going to get locked up and you're pleading insanity.
Eli?
I don't think I did. I think it was just bare hands. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to lie to you. Those memories are clouded.
Well, what about Who do you remember using the belt on?
Babies.
On the babies?
Babies.
Who were the babies, Tim?
Pardon?
Gabriel and Elaine, is that correct? Elaine is also known as Abigail, right? Okay.
And when you say the belt, you put the belt around their...
I used to strangle them.
You used to strangle them. Why didn't you use your hands with them?
I don't know. At that point, I wasn't thinking. At that point, I was just thinking, run, get rid of the bodies, and you're fucked, Tim.
Were the older children, did they put up a fight?
I mean, what person's not?
Right.
You told us earlier that Eli said something to you before you killed him. What did he say to you?
Take me with, Dad.
What do you think Eli meant when he said that?
I think he just wanted to go where I was. He knew Natan was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So they...
I don't know exactly what he meant by that. I mean...
You know what he meant. You know what he meant. He basically said, Dad, don't kill me. He basically said, Dad, don't kill me. Take me with you. He was thinking the same thing Bella was thinking after Chris Watts murdered her little sister in his face and took her up to the oil tank. He was thinking, Dad, don't kill me. Take me with you. But you couldn't take him with you because he was no longer your son. He was a witness.
I don't know where he thought I was going. I didn't even know where I was going at that time. This is just happening. It's like my mind, I don't know what to do now.
Did any of the other children say anything before you killed him?
Gabriel said, I love you.
Okay, that's a question I was gonna, we're gonna ask you here.
I wanted that Gabriel hear the cries of his sibling say, take me with you. And he realized that that's not going to work because you still killed. So since he realized that that wasn't going to work, the last thing he wanted on this earth for people to know was that he loved you. And then you killed him too. And now you're not even man enough as a father to stand up for what you've done. You're not even man enough to just sit up there and say, I did this. I did this. You're choosing the only path with tons of evidence. The only path, tons of evidence that you did it would be insanity. And you're choosing that. You're choosing that. To escape what you've done to end these 5 beautiful lives that you helped bring into the world.
We've gone over all this, and you've been honest with us. Are we going to find any of the other children cut up at all? No? You didn't try to burn them at all?
I can't replace it.
Tim, what
Okay.
about the bleach in the vehicle when you got
To
stopped?
cover up the blood.
To cover up the blood?
Well, I also know, in honest truth, I do like bleach because it makes stuff smell clean.
So you're probably trying to get rid of some of that odor.
Not just that, I mean, no, so, I mean, I would carry it around in the car even if before, because I like bleach and make stuff
Okay.
clean that you want to go. was just me.
You're also willing to go with us to try to locate the bodies?
I am, but like I said, I don't know how productive that's going to be. I don't want you guys to get out there, oh, you're pissing around, wasting our time. I'm not. I mean, I drive, but forgive me, part of that's a blank.
This man just said, I will go help you find my children's dead, rotting corpse, but I don't want you to get mad at me and come down upon me if I can't remember any clues. So it's best that I just stay here and let my children rot in trash bags in the woods somewhere so animals can continue to eat their bodies and stuff. And he blames it on the cops. Selfishness, lack of responsibility, and most importantly, he's afraid. He's afraid to see the damage that he caused to them with other human beings watching.
All right, Tim, we ran through these questions earlier. You've heard them all, so there's no surprises. Unfortunately, we got to do it again because of the issue with the recorder. First question is, do you know where you are?
Yes.
Where is that?
Smith County.
Smith County? Do you know who you are?
Tim Jones.
Tim Jones, what's your date of birth, Tim?
12/20/81.
You know why we've been talking to you?
Trying to find out what happened to my kids.
Okay. Do you understand that you've just confessed to a crime?
Yes.
Do you understand that your confession will be used against you in
Yes.
court? Did you confess voluntarily?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten you if you didn't confess?
No.
Can you speak a little louder?
No.
No? What do you think will happen to you as a result of confessing to a crime?
I have no clue.
No clue? Okay, fair enough. Why did you decide to confess?
I didn't do the right thing.
To do the right thing? That's exactly what you told me earlier. Do you feel guilty about the crime which you just confessed to?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. If so, why?
I felt that I took measures that were extreme, not necessary because of fear. Fear of my life.
Case closed. I took measures that was drastic and unnecessary because of fear of my life. Wait. Please don't tell me he's about to turn this around. I'm thinking he's saying fear of his life because he's gonna get the death sentence. Please don't tell me he's gonna turn this around on these kids.
Because of kids.
Okay. Did you do the crime on...
I have no words.
purpose?
Natan was an accident.
He was an
That
accident.
was really an accident. I was just trying to find out what was going on. If you look at that picture of me holding my little son, yeah, it's just picture of me with the older one trying to say, son, what's going on? And he wouldn't tell me, and I don't know if he was messing with the stuff, and
So
the PT took him over the edge.
Natan was an accident, but you murdered the other 4 children.
Yes.
Okay. Why did you...
Every time, every confession tape I listened to, he was just talking loud. But then the investigator says, but you murdered the other 4 children. And his voice gets so low, he can barely squeeze it out. It's, yes.
do that? We talked about this earlier.
The voices started kicking and said, you better do...
He's back loud when he's talking about the voices in his head. But when it comes to him and his responsibility, it's yes. And that was really fast. Loud, low, loud. Back again.
Something you're fucking out to.
Okay. What were you trying to
You're fucked
accomplish
now,
by
Tim.
doing this crime?
Just trying to flee because I knew my time was short. I was going to get in trouble anyway. I'm not good at being bad. I'm not a good criminal.
When did you decide to do this?
After Natan had been gone, I started listening to what was going on in my head and I carried it out. I didn't carry out everything because if I did, I would have carried out what was on those papers. That's the stuff that comes out of my head.
What did you think about your children, just in general?
I think that they were going to have issues like me.
Issues like you? Okay.
I think that they were going to have it.
He really throwing anything against the wall. My kids tried to kill me. I got voices in my head. I'm doing my children a favor because if I let my children live, they end up like me. So really now it's a mercy kill. I'm just going to throw anything against the wall and we're going to see what sticks. How many excuses can you have for ending your children's life in one confession tape? You're not even consistently setting the grounds for insanity.
Issues from now from a broken home. I think that there's genetic diseases that I think that there was some things that my dad, if you guys had seen yesterday, he doesn't know about my mom.
Yeah.
I think that there's things I know about my mom, even though I wasn't around when that happened, because I think I've got some of what she has.
What kind of people do you think the children were
Yeah, you got some evilness.
when you committed the crime? I understand this is a weird question for what we're talking about, but we had to ask it earlier too.
Not trap
I
himself.
think they were conspiring.
Think they were conspiring against you?
That seems to make the most sense to me. I mean, why else would somebody go do something like that and not tell me what he's doing?
Do you understand that you've just... Oh, sorry, I'm getting behind myself. When you did this, did you think
That's even more motive against you, like if I was a prosecutor. And again, I haven't watched the whole court case, which I am before I make my full video on it, but he just gave motive. I murdered my children because I thought that they were trying to kill me. I thought 2 babies, a 8 and 7-year-old were led by an evil 6-year-old who knows how to enhance electricity to somehow blow me up. To be honest, that can go against him, and that can also help him too because of the schizophrenia. But like I said, schizophrenia is not a license to murder people. There's millions of people on the planet right now who have schizophrenia. If they willingly kill someone, knowing that it's bad, they try to cover up the crime, lie consistently over and over again about different motives, and they were scared and frightened that they were going to go to jail for accidentally killing the first child. That's murder. That's murder. And you look at these individuals, like, it's first degree murder, if you ask me. He thought about it, he planned it, he drew out everything. It's first degree murder. I hate that I'm doing this like a day before the verdict, because like when this comes out, they may have already had a verdict on him, but I'll turn around and make another video.
actions could hurt the children?
Yes.
Yes. So you knew that what you were doing to the children was going to...
I knew that what I was
harm
doing
and protect their lives.
It was to protect myself.
Okay.
I know that sounds fucking pathetic.
Now, when you did this crime, did you know it was wrong?
At the time, I didn't think any of it was wrong. It happened, and just fuck, I'm happenstance, and let me finish it up now.
Okay. When you did the crime, did you know it was against the law?
At the time, I didn't think about the law, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
The law didn't come into my mind. I wasn't caring about the law.
But now he's going in hard. Now that we're 30 minutes in, now he's thrown so much at the wall, but now he's consistently trying to go with the crazy. I didn't understand the law by saying he wasn't thinking about the law. I didn't think what I was doing was wrong. I thought that they were trying to kill me.
The law, dealing with dead children in my hands. Fuck the law. I'm in trouble, man. My kid's dead.
Yeah. Did you...
Fuck the law. I'm in trouble. That's what I'm saying. He's not consistent. See, you're only one person. And if you're not a master psychologist or whatever it is, you don't know the parameters that they're looking for to say you're insane. So your problem is if you decide to kill somebody and plead insanity, your limited expertise, your massive ignorance on the full scope of this is going to go against professionals. Professionals who's going to show you that you're not insane. They're going to show you the inconsistency. If I can do it, I know that they're going to do it. You know, in this spiel he's doing right now to make it appear that he's insane, he just again said that he knew he was going to go to jail. He killed his children to not go to jail.
You think you might get caught?
No, you're fine.
I knew I was gonna get caught. I'm not a good criminal. It was a matter of time.
Gotcha. Why did you think that? Just because you weren't a good crook?
I'm not a good. Grandma's told me something that's the truth. Tim, you ain't. I told it to my kids too. You guys ain't good. Be bad, so be good.
What did you do to protect yourself from getting caught?
Killed his kids.
Drive and try to get this guy's the bags, and then get rid of the stuff at the house.
What all did you get rid of at the house?
Everything. I gave them
You're just saying your general possessions.
Yeah, I just didn't think about keeping my stuff anymore.
And also too, It'd probably been better for him if he just said that, like, I start coming to after I killed my children. But he didn't say after he killed his children. He said he knew he was going to get in trouble after the accidental, quote unquote, accidental murder of Nathan, his 6-year-old, who he PT'd to death. That's when he's saying it. So like because you can say you blacked out during all 5 murders, right? And then you came to and tried to cover up. But if you say it happened after the accident on the first one, you're saying that you deliberately killed the other 4. You knew what you were doing, and you was trying to cover up.
Held it. Yeah. I gave all my stuff away. I mean, my life's over. That's what I thought about it.
Have there been times you wanted to do something like this but decided against it?
I mean, I've had these thoughts, but none of this happened until this actually materialized. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, why didn't you do that in the past if you've had these thoughts before?
Why didn't I?
Yes.
I didn't have any reason to act on them.
No reason to act on them? Okay. Would you have done this if a uniformed officer had been standing next to you?
Yes.
Even
I wouldn't have cared, no man, because
elbow to elbow with you, you would have still
I wouldn't
done
have
this.
cared, yeah. And here's why. At that point in time,
Even the cops couldn't stop me from killing my kids because at that time,
I didn't care because I saw myself as a damn target. And I saw him as having a gun in his hand, if you will. I know he was a kid, but that's how I saw it, like, shit.
And when you say him, you're talking about
Natan.
And how old is Natan?
6 years old.
6 years old. Did anyone tell you to do this?
The voices inside my
Voices in
head.
your head. And just confirm the voices in your head are not God.
he told
They're
himself.
not God. No, God would. No, this ain't Isaac and Abraham.
Okay. When you did this, did you know that society would condemn your actions, even if they knew everything that you know?
I mean, at the time, I sort of didn't care.
You didn't care? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, I felt like I was marked for dead, if you will, and I was just acting accordingly.
Did you have any strange or unusual mental experiences around the time of the crime?
Yes. Of course.
If so, what were they and when did they begin?
When he told me what he said,
Yes.
all kinds of stuff started triggering, and then I worked harder to get out of him to try to see if maybe I could put it back together, and then I realized that he's not doing this per se to. He's not telling me what's going on because it appears he's got something intended for me, and he doesn't want me to know that it's right for me.
Yeah.
Because normally they're pretty apt at telling me the truth, and if they don't, I give them a couple squats and a push up, and they spit it out. He ain't doing that, which means there's some motive that he does not want me
Is
to
that why you pushed him so hard?
Yes, I tried pushing more. Give me some more, a little more pressure. Maybe he'll just tell me what's going on. That's always worked before. And so the fact that it didn't work this time tells me that there was something that he didn't want me to know.
When he got...
Yeah, I've put my children on a punishment before. I've sent them to their room. I've taken cookies away from them. And sometimes their kids, they're not going to want to tell. They're not going to want to admit something. I never wanted to murder them. I never wanted to do PT. And I want to remind you all that he's making it sound like, hey, give me a couple more push-ups since you won't do this. He's probably foaming at the mouth, screaming at his kid, probably pushing his kid head down into the rug. It would have been extremely hard for us normal people to sit back and watch someone do this. He would not have done PT'd him like that if any of us was in that room.
Yeah, pushed his limit. Did he just die pass out right there? Or what happened?
He went to bed and he was tired.
He went to bed and he just never woke up.
And then I came back to check on him and he wasn't breathing. I said, oh shit, what have I done? My kid's dead in my hand. They're gonna think I murdered him. I just PT'd him. He's fucking with the owl. I don't know what happened to him. And then all sorts of stuff starts triggering in my head, and that's like the other 4 become a victim.
Tim, have you ever heard or seen things that weren't really there?
Yes.
If so, has this been when taking drugs?
Both, with or without drugs.
With and without drugs? What did you see or hear?
I've seen people. I've had conversation. I've started to talk with people when there's nobody in the room.
You told me shapes earlier.
I'll see shapes. It's the strangest thing. I'll see shapes and things materialize that aren't real.
Has this happened while we've been talking to you tonight?
Yes.
What have you seen while you were talking to us tonight?
Well, I see people.
What kind of people do you see?
Just normal, everyday people. I don't talk to them because if you guys, you're gonna say start talking to me, not them, dude. if you pay attention to what's going on in my cell, I get so nutty, I start talking to him.
Mhm. Did this happen the day of the crime?
Yes.
What did you see the day of the crime? Did you see people?
Oh, I think you're talking about I'm sorry, this goes back to the
Just
voices.
the voices? Okay.
Yeah, the voices ran rampant in my head.
You
And
had,
there was no space for logic to talk. They were so loud that the logic was quiet. And
I understand. Do you have any ideas or beliefs that other people think are crazy? If so, what are they?
I'm a Freemason.
You're Freemason? Okay.
They probably think my thoughts about exercise are nuts, but I mean, I tend to think people should take care of themselves.
Okay.
I'm old school in the sense that I think kids should get their asses busted by a teacher.
Okay.
I don't like the fact, and here's
A man who just murdered his 5 children. One, he's saying to excessive PT. He's talking about how he thinks people should be in shape and how teachers should bust their ass.
one of my problems. This is what the DSS was about.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I didn't worry about kids bringing guns to school and blowing the hell out of each other or the teacher. That didn't happen because there was a healthy fear, and you got corrected by parents. These day and age, kids bring guns to school because I don't think that they're corrected at home, and they take other people's lives because they got no respect for authority. I said, I will not let my kids go out and go blasting people away because I'm not teaching them to respect human life. Mm-hmm. So that was my whole motivation with the time to push him, hey dude, you need to tell me what you're up to, man. I need to know.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't tell me.
So you'd say your personal beliefs affect your actions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true for everybody.
Yeah. I think so too.
I don't know who wouldn't be.
You know, obviously if you believe something, it doesn't affect your action. You don't really believe it that much, do you?
Yeah, you say you do, but you don't, right?
Yeah. Do people ever have difficulty understanding you?
Yes.
If so, why do you think this is?
People say I'm really smart, and I talk at 100 miles an hour, and I'll go from one subject to another, and it seems random to them, but to me it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've
I've understood you tonight. I can see how people would think that, though.
You're more understanding than the typical person. I can tell that. I got a sort of a nuance about people. You're a very people person, I can tell.
Well, I'm here to try to understand.
Well, no, I'm saying
I told you earlier.
Not all cops are that way.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I was resistant to the other ones.
The ones that you spoke with last night. And I may have some questions for you about that. We'll talk about those in a minute.
You know, everybody in true crime, like we kind of grew up on cop shows and you know, you start watching 48 Hours, you start seeing these interrogations. You know from watching these kind of shows, not even the real show, just like, let's say, script written cop shows, they do bad cop, good cop. And yet we know this and they still fall for it. It's fascinating to me in real life. Like, you know it's coming. You know one's going to be upset, cussing, a little bit more stern with you. And you know the other one is going to be nice. And yet they all, from one of the most notorious serial killers to little old Timmy here, they all fall for a good cop, bad cop.
The next question, so we can get through these. Have you ever been told that you had a mental illness?
By a doctor?
Just anybody.
Oh yeah, you're fucking nuts, dude. My nickname in high school was the crazy white guy.
Crazy white guy?
I'm not joking. Yeah, that was my nickname.
So people in high school told you this. You told us earlier. The military also.
The military said I was wrongly enlisted due to some wrong enlistment. I fell into depression.
Okay. Have you ever had any treatment, or have you ever been hospitalized for any of these issues?
No, I fought it.
You fought it. Okay.
I tried it.
Have you ever had a diagnosis?
No.
No. Do you think you have a mental illness?
I think something's not right. I don't know what I think I may have some, some.
Okay.
If I'm anything like my mom, yeah, I've got lots.
I got you. Were you drinking or using any drugs at the time of the crime?
No, it was self-medication afterwards.
Afterward? What did you take afterward?
Scooby Snap. It was the only thing. We tried to calm the voices long enough for me to collect myself, and it really didn't work because what I just did.
Yeah.
Nothing was working.
Were you drinking or using any drugs when you were arrested?
I think I'd been smoking Scooby Snacks.
Scooby Snacks, okay.
Speaking of that, can I have another one, please?
Another cigarette?
Yeah. Oops, steal 20 bucks from my wallet. Buy some more.
Do you have any illnesses? physical illnesses?
So I'm just telling you what I think based off of my experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the type who doesn't really like to go to doctors, which is,
I
I
can
guess,
respect
a
that.
male thing.
Yeah,
I think I got an ulcer.
an ulcer.
Yeah, and the reason why is because I get those sulfur burps.
Mhm.
They like eggs, and I don't know. And then also, some foods will just do a number to my gut. I've been told I might have colitis or Crohn's. My
Okay.
digestive tract sensitive. That's why you don't see me eat much.
I got you. And speaking of eating, you still don't want anything to eat. I'm glad you're good right now.
No, I can't eat right now. As far as also, I got issues with my back because I smashed my head. I was so young. I got stuck out of line, and I asked them to give me a. They made me sleep on that hard metal thing, and I asked them if I could have a mattress because my stuff hurts, and I don't because they think I was gonna hang myself with a mattress or something.
You're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But you say you're not suicidal at all.
If I was gonna do it, it would have already happened. No, man, I'm not willing to take that. I'll do a lot of stuff, but
Because you said you're religious
I'm not real. Listen,
beliefs.
taking my life is not one of them.
Because what happens? You say if you kill yourself,
If you kill yourself, well, maybe nothing does happen, and maybe, Lord, I love you. Maybe God's a myth, and we die and we go to the ground. But if He's not, and it's real, well, if it does what it says, hell's not a very fun place.
that's called Pascal's wager. Look up the definition of Pascal's wager. What he just said about, God's maybe. What if He's not real? But just in case He is real, just look up Pascal's wager. But what was more interesting in that piece that he said was how he's insinuating that ain't no coming back from killing yourself. That's the ultimate no. Do not kill yourself. There's this thing to whether you believe in religion or you don't believe in anything. Scientifically, is put in us how we would jump in front of a car to save our children. We would give our lives to save the life of our children. And it's interesting how firm his belief, his stance is on him taking his own life. But he would be so easily, so willingly over an electrical outlet take the lives of his children, 5 children, or if you believe him, accidental PT in the death in Nathan, and then making the not logical, but making the sound decision to kill his other 4 children. Now, you saw me typing a little bit minute ago because I'm like, I see some signs of instability in him. Again, I'm no expert. I do see some signs of instability, some fear of paranoia in him. But I'm like, just because you have these things don't mean you can go murder people and plead insanity and get off. I'm sitting here when you see me listening to him and I'm pausing, I'm rocking back and forth like this. I'm just thinking like different scenarios. What if a guy was schizophrenic and he goes into a bank and he just murders everybody in the building? Then he runs down the street to the mall and just start killing everybody in the mall. Does he get off because he has schizophrenia? And I'm like, well, let me just look in the South Carolina definition. I think I said Kentucky, but just to be clear, this was in South Carolina. According to South Carolina law, insanity is an affirmative defense. In order for an insanity plea to be successful, that is, to convince the jury that the defendant should be found not guilty, the defense must convince the jury that the defendant's mental illness prevented him from knowing right from wrong. I 100%, if I was on that jury, thinks that he knew at the time of these murders, he knew right from wrong. I am thoroughly convinced that he knew right from wrong. But these are 5 counts of murder. You think that after one of his children is laying in the bed, from his own words, dead from PT, and he kills 3 children. He strangles 2 of them, and he puts the belt around one of his 2 babies. And then he has 1 more baby left to go. And when he goes to put that belt around that baby and squeeze the life out of his baby, you're saying that when he got to that last one, he didn't know right from wrong? He didn't know what he was doing was wrong? I think as I'm recording this, the jury's deliberating, So as I edit this, I'll know for certain. but I'm willing to bet that he's going to be found guilty.
Yes. I don't think it plans on freezing over anytime soon. I don't want to go there.
Were you taking any medications before you were arrested?
I don't think so.
Okay. Were you taking any medications at the time of the crime?
You talking about like
Prescription medications?
So I mean I had ibuprofen and naproxen.
Okay.
So those, yeah, but nothing like. To me, that's all I had.
Okay.
I didn't have anything
Fair
else.
enough.
That's all they gave me.
When we talked about this question earlier, have you ever had a seizure or fit?
I don't know what the word fit means, but I think I may have had some seizures, the non-violent type.
Okay. Did you have one the day of the crime in question?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I can't say that I
Okay.
did.
Have you ever been knocked unconscious?
Yes.
Yes. If so, when?
I mean, I grew up as a young teenager in Chicago, and I had to protect myself because I'm white, and most of those guys aren't white, and they don't like me because of my skin color. You know what that means.
And you said earlier that you were not treated for these injuries.
No, I'm stubborn ass and don't go to the doctor unless I need to.
Is there...
I got a few things. We started off today at 17:30, or I'm sorry, 19:30, about 7:30 p.m. Does this sound right to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been here for a number of hours. It's 10 o'clock.
It is currently 10:53 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
That's
yeah.
Central
so
Time.
This is
Actually,
okay. So we're going off of.
It's actually 9:55 p.m.
So we've been here a number of hours.
What time is it?
It's 9:55. My wristwatch didn't change.
You're from Carolinas.
Yes. Yes. And in that time, you've had a number of cigarettes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We've asked you if you want to use the bathroom, something to eat, something to drink. In fact, you had something to drink here.
Yes, sir.
All right. A couple things I did want to go through with you before. We had talked about when this happened, the children, when this happened in the living room, you were saying the bodies were on the ground.
Yes.
And the other kids, did they know what was coming?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they supposed. I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't exactly in a state of mind watching. Hey, does he care? No.
Right? Did they put up a fight?
Well, I mean, what normal human's not?
Okay, and I understand you're trying to tell me they did. And what do you mean by that, though?
They didn't want to go.
What do you mean?
They didn't want their lives taken.
Why didn't you get help? Before all this, you told us you had thoughts about this. Why didn't you get help?
Just put it off thinking I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get help later.
Why not give the children to your father?
I didn't think that way.
How about to their mother?
She didn't want them. She said that they couldn't come with her if they had asked. The two of them, Natan and Mira, had made a plot, and they originally got DSS involved in the attempt to...
This line of answering is, he's literally saying, look, man, killing was the only option. They couldn't go to their mom. She didn't want them, which I don't believe from that testimony. And I believe if you gave their mom the option, hey, would you like your children, or I'm going to choke them and take the babies and strangle them with a belt to death, she's going to say yes, she wanted children. This line of questioning, he's saying that killing is the only option.
They were going to try to get themselves taken out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they made up a bunch of lies, as the lady would say. If you talk to her, they made up some stuff that weren't true, and she found out. She got to the bottom of it.
But Tim, why after things happened with Natan, you're telling us that was not done intentionally?
No, that was not done intentionally.
The other
well, it was
four
done intentionally in the sense that I was trying to just get answers out of him.
Okay.
I didn't go and intentionally just go hurt him.
Why not after you had plenty of time? You have over a week's time where those children, the bodies now.
Because
and also too, this is something different you don't normally hear. Pay attention. The detectives are, their voices are changing. They're getting a little bit emotionally invested. Like they're a little bit more stern with him on why are you doing this stuff.
at that point,
With you.
sir, because at that point I'm not thinking about anything but I'm screwed. I'm not thinking logically. If I was thinking logically, I would have done that. But I didn't. Logic went out the window.
All right.
I didn't use. I didn't
Whenever anybody killed their children, logic goes out of the window because there's no logical reason for you to kill your all your children.
think normal at all. At that point, I don't know. I wasn't myself.
And after everything that's happened, you were questioned yesterday. You were questioned by the sheriff. You were questioned by people with the Mississippi State Police. You don't tell them the whole truth. Why not?
The guilt hadn't eaten me yet far enough.
All right. What you're telling us here today, is this the truth?
What? The guilt hadn't eaten me far enough? You rolled around with your children in the backseat of your car, rotting. When they pulled you over, maggots were in the car. Through all of that, what was the contributing factor after you were arrested and everything that made guilt finally be enough for you to tell the truth or some form of this form of truth? We really won't ever know what happened. We won't ever know the details of what you mean when you insinuated, because you aren't man enough to say it, that your children fought for their lives. The guilt hadn't eaten me up. Like, the guilt meter's a meter, and it hadn't reached a point to where I want to say what happened to my children during their last moments of their life.
Yes.
The evidence that we're going to see, whether it's the autopsies or when we find the bodies, is it going to support what you're telling us here today?
Yes, barring that I don't know what else you may see, poke, stab, throw them in the car. But I mean, they may have some crutch, something in there. You're gonna find a mark on Natan's leg.
Okay.
And
we did talk about, the sheriff had told you about a part of a scalp in the car.
It just had to have been Natan. Just saying Natan's the first one to die, Natan's the first one to get cut. I just can't get over that coincidence. I cannot get over that.
I don't know exactly how that came about. That may be just thrash of me putting bodies in there.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
I had asked you if there would be any broken bones and
You might find some now. I don't know as far as. So I mean,
did that happen before they died?
No. No.
Okay.
Breaking bones wasn't a way to me to. I mean, I wasn't using them at that point. I wasn't thinking at that point, let me break bones to get what I'm going to do done. And no, I was thinking, let me go get this done and get out of here.
Well, and you know you're being recorded right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, and you know this is voluntary, just like talking to us here today.
Okay. Incriminating myself, I know.
But after everything we've gone over, what is it you'd like to say about your actions?
God, I'm sorry. Children, I love you. I hope I see you again someday if I'm worthy to. I'm sorry.
All right, and you're willing to go with us tomorrow?
I'm willing to, but I don't know where. I don't know where to look. I mean, I know the general vicinity. I don't know exactly where. I'm willing to try. So I'm telling you, I can't. I drove around with the intention that I wasn't ever gonna have to go back there and look because I was so ashamed of what I'd done. I'll try. I don't know if I'm gonna help you. I'll try though. I surely will. Because they need a burial.
All right, Tim, I just got a couple of just follow-up questions here. You mentioned the police officers you spoke with last night, they could have done things a little differently when they spoke to you. Can you just tell us from your experience what you think they could have done better or worse than what they did?
If I'm being recorded, let me say this much. Let me share my experience with this. So I've done time before.
Okay.
I don't know that yeah, I've been put up there in a rubber room, no clothes, no mattress, no nothing for the whole time. I asked him for a blanket just to cover up because they cut the shower off of me. I was using that to keep warm.
Yeah.
I feel that they could have gave me clothes. I said, give me at least something. So I don't want to sound like I'm being nitpicky. I mean, I'm not the person to be nitpicky, but there's metal that's rusting. And I told them, guys, that produces tetanus. I don't want to get tetanus, and they don't care. I said, if I lay on that, and you can see the paint was, yeah, look. So there's the paint from the. That's just one. If I pull the shirt off, you're probably gonna find pieces on my back.
Choking produces death. Choking produces death, but you won't take. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's the paint. Well, there's also rusted metal, and I'm afraid I'm gonna get tetanus, but they won't give me any blanket or any mattress.
Well, what about the interview yesterday, though? That's primarily what I'm asking you
so
about.
the reason I stiff-armed those guys is because I don't know, they don't talk the way you do. There's something about your approach that makes it very
Nice
easy
cop.
to speak to you.
Bad cop.
They weren't that way. No offense, you're intimidating hell. You're an FBI agent. I'm not so apt to talk to you. To me, you're here, and I'm way down here, and you're gonna crush me. You're the FBI. I'm just a nobody.
Well, Tim, I feel like we've had a good talk this evening, and I appreciate you
This ain't
sticking
good,
to us.
man. There ain't nothing good here.
Is there anything we could have done better in what we all talked about this evening?
Shoot, man, I've never been asked that question by you. Not. I can't think of anything better. No.
You think we were fair to you this evening and gave you an opportunity to tell your story?
Yes, but if there's something that you could do for me, it would seriously be to contact my mother. Help me.
I'm
If you
gonna
guys really want to help me, please do. I didn't tell you the truth with the intention I was gonna not get help.
All right, Tim, would you be willing to speak with me in the future if I've got some more questions or some things I'd like to talk to you about?
I'm sure you're going to if you see the bodies. Yeah.
Okay.
That's expected.
What do you mean?
I mean, when you see the bodies, I'm sure you're gonna ask me more questions just because
But
that's.
you're willing to speak to us again if we need to speak again?
There's no reason not to at this point.
Okay. And I'm
I'm not
Detective.
accomplishing anything by withholding the
understand.
truth.
Well, just for the record, I'm Detective Creech with the Sheriff's Department. I'm the case officer on this incident, and I'll be back in touch with you. I'm sure we'll have some more questions at some point. Okay. And with me is David Mackey with the Federal Bureau of Investigations.
No disrespect, man, about that comment, but you really are. That's.
All right, so that's it. That is the end of Tim Jones Jr. confession. I'm going to do more videos like this, and for anyone who's coming on, I want to say again, there is so much more to the case. The case is, I think, closing right now. I think the jury is in deliberation, so it could be possible that the verdict could be out by the time I put out this video. But if so, that would be interesting to see what they said. I think they're going to come back guilty. I think if you talk to him, one of the main reasons they're going to say he's guilty is from his own words right here on this confession tape, as he threw anything that would stick to the wall, threw anything in hopes that something stick to the wall, basically is what I got from this. And it seems like towards the 30-minute mark of a 48-minute video, that's when he started to hone in on saying that the reason he did this is from something being traumatic or wrong with him. I have no remorse as a father of 4, and cases like this always get to me. And I will be going through the entire case, evidence, all the witnesses, anything I can get my hands on with this video to make a full video on Tim Jones Jr. As always, people, don't kill, make a sandwich.